Welcome back to Definitely Real Chef, where I take recipes I find online and let you know whether or not they're worth making. Also, whether or not life is worth living. Sometimes, the best things in life are the simplest. A cool breeze on a warm summer day. A smile from a friend. The sound of mourning doves at the break of dawn. But sometimes, the simplest things in life can also be the worst. Stubbing your toe on a hard table leg, your shirt catching on the door handle when you're already upset, burning your mouth on the scorching exterior of a Hot Pocket to discover the inside is still ice cold. Today's recipe is simple as can be and will certainly fall into one of those two categories. Which one will it be? Keep watching to find out. It'll probably be the second one. It's probably gonna be the bad one. It's probably gonna not taste good. Today's recipe is a baked bean filled chocolate cup. Think a Reese's peanut butter cup, but instead of peanut butter, it's beans. Normal things going on the channel today. What do you think of the name Cowboy Cup? I think it's got a bit of a flair to it. I think there's enough association between cowboys and baked beans that it makes sense. I do like the name Peanut Butter Cup, which I have seen other people call this recipe. It's got a nice simplicity to it, but what do you think? This is really the first recipe on this channel that genuinely feels like a shit post, but I still feel like there's enough merit in this to give it a shot. I was facing the wrong way. This recipe is a ticking time bomb, especially if you live with other people. Can you imagine going to take a bite of a Reese's peanut butter cup and finding out it's actually a peanut butter cup or a cowboy cup, trademark pending? Fun fact about beans and Reese's peanut butter cups: beans are supposed to be enjoyed hot. Reese's peanut butter cups, room temperature at best. Are you seeing the friction this may cause in the final product? I am going to be eating room temperature beans, which doesn't sound yummy. I mean, obviously the alternative, you could heat up the peanut butter cup, but then the chocolate will melt and you'll just have warm chocolate bean soup, which doesn't sound like a terrible idea, but that's not what we're testing. This recipe came to me in a dream, actually. Nope, sorry. This recipe came to me in a meme. And it took more investigation than I'd like to admit to find the original source, but I think I was able to locate it, and I think it does come from @thevulgarchef on TikTok. Although I can't imagine he actually really wants to be credited with this recipe. Attributing a name to this recipe feels more like an accusation than credit. Now, this is probably our most in-depth and complicated ingredients list we've ever seen on this channel, so let's stop making jokes and stalling and get right into the ingredients. Today's ingredients are beans and melting chocolate. First, you're gonna wanna grab a muffin tin and line a few of the divots with aluminum foil. Make sure that the way you line them makes it so nothing can actually touch the tin. I'd recommend doing more than you need just in case things go awry. Once you have those lined, open up your baked beans and scoop some into the aluminum cups. Don't fill these up super high, but make sure you get a healthy amount of beans as well as a good amount of juice so they can, actually freeze. Next, you're gonna pop them into the freezer for roughly 45 minutes or just until frozen solid. I just was kind of checking on them over time. Once your beans are frozen solid, you can start melting your chocolate, but I'd recommend leaving the beans in the freezer the entire time until you are completely ready to pour the chocolate. To melt your chocolate, you're gonna use a double boiler, which is what this is, albeit mine is bad because the sizes are wrong. Your inner bowl shouldn't really dip this far into the pot, but my pot was way too big and I kept splashing water everywhere. It's also important to note that you shouldn't let your water actually boil, but mine did. That's because I just have a hard time remembering how hot I actually turned the stove on. Once your chocolate is nice and melty, we are gonna pull out our bean tin. Remove the aluminum foil from the beans and lay down some cupcake wrappers in the tin. I got these cute Halloween ones because I think we're close enough to Halloween to be doing that stuff. Once you got your cupcake liners in there, you're gonna fill them up with chocolate about a quarter of the way. Then you're gonna press your bean blocks in there, then cover them up with chocolate, and let this all come to room temperature. I'd say about 30 minutes to an hour, and then you're done. This is a ridiculous day. This is a ridiculous thing that I've made. Just a little BTS kind of content, let you in on it. Usually the thumbnail process for my videos is really easy. I make the food and then I just show the camera what's going on. But for this one, the base product wouldn't really make sense to show. So I tried to get a cross section in it. I just absolutely demolished one of them. That's why I made 3. I have 1 left over after the thumbnail process. I'm quite intrigued. I've had a lot of bean juice leak on my hands. You may be surprised to learn this, but I am actually less scared of the peanut butter cup than I was of the pasta salad, the summer pasta salad I tried a while back. That scared me more than this scares me. Is my instinct right on that? I'm not sure. The summer pasta salad was pretty bad. It was the worst thing we'd had on this channel. Still is the worst thing we've had on this channel. maybe the peanut butter cup can beat it. You can see a little bit of bean juice leaking out here. Ah, it's so hard to get this paper off. Wow, this one's actually like quite intact. I'm glad this is the one I saved for the taste test. This one turned out pretty darn good overall. A little bit of cracking there. I'm gonna eat this over a plate, actually. I feel like that's the right move here. It was swallowable. I say it on camera to prove that it was swallowable. I feel like you wouldn't believe me otherwise. It's pretty rare on this channel where I feel like I have a very succinct review of what I just did. I feel like a lot of the times I'm struggling to find the words and my thoughts are all jumbled up and confused, and it makes this process pretty long, but I know exactly what I want to say for a change. Taste-wise, I'm going to give this a score of a 4.5 out of 10. There were things that... Okay, there was nothing I liked about it. I was gonna say there were things I liked about it, but there was nothing I liked about it. Things that made this not an enjoyable experience. Cold beans, who would have thought? Now, see, I actually thought it was possible that the chocolate and beans, the sweet and savory, would kind of mix together and make something decent, but I was wrong, obviously. But the reason I was wrong was not because the actual flavors were bad together, it was that they were both struggling for attention. A lot of the upfront flavor was just beans because of like the juice and the beans. Obviously you didn't really taste any of the chocolate, but then after you chew more and swallow, you get hit with all the chocolate flavor, and it's like, where were you during the first half of this mouth experience? Felt like I wasn't eating a peanut butter cup, it felt like I was eating cold beans and then chocolate. So 4.5 out of 10 is what I rate it. It's not gross, I would say. It's just not good. Just a little bit below mid. It's just not great. Easiness to make. That was my first time double boiling chocolate like that and then making like a peanut butter cup like thing at all. And I honestly didn't struggle too much. I feel like there were things I could have done ahead of time to prepare better, but I'm bad at that, and that's my fault. I would say for the average person, this is probably a 6.5 out of 10 on the easiness to make scale. I am back doing sketch comedy. I made an announcement on my channel before on the community tab. I'll link a video in the description below of a sketch I wrote recently. Go check that out. I'll also like put the like little link thing up here if I remember to do that. I usually forget to do that. I want to give a huge shout out to all my patrons: Maddie Online, Dakota, Nolan, Minecraft Stever, Monty, Zachary Braun, Abby, Boyd, Holland, and Nick. If you want your name read out at the end of every single one of my videos and literally nothing else, go subscribe to my Patreon. The link is in my description below.